People think retirement is about having more time. I don't. I think it's about getting more life out of the time you already have. So grab your coffee and sit with me for a minute because I've been thinking about something this week. People think retirement is about walking away from something. I used to think that too. But over this last month, I've realized that it's actually about walking towards something. So, what am I walking toward? That's the question that's been following me this last month of work. And this past weekend, when I spent time with my family up in South Carolina, it confirmed something I'd been feeling for a while. For a long time, I thought retirement was about leaving work behind, leaving the deadlines, leaving the schedules, finally slowing down. And I think that's what a lot of people believe that retirement is. But somewhere along the way, I realized that that is not my story. I didn't spend years building a career that I hated. In fact, it's quite the opposite. I'm incredibly grateful for it. It gave me friendships that I will carry with me for the rest of my life. It gave me purpose. It challenged me. It helped me become the woman that I am today. And for decades, I had the privilege of sitting across from people during some of the biggest decisions of their lives, helping them find their way through uncertainty. And that's something that I'll always be thankful for. So no, I'm not walking away from my life. I'm walking toward living it more fully. So what does that actually look like? I've been asking myself that question all week. I think it looks like mornings that aren't rushed, sitting outside with a cup of coffee before the world asks anything of me. Watching my grandchildren grow up instead of glancing up from my phone and catching little pieces of it. Painting. Actually painting and not just thinking about it between appointments. Taking the back roads, even if the highway gets me there 10 minutes sooner. Planting flowers, watching the hummingbirds, calling a friend without checking the time. None of those things are actually extraordinary. And in fact, they're very, very ordinary. Small. So small that most people probably wouldn't even put them on a bucket list. But they're my life. Have you ever stopped to ask yourself, what are you rushing past? Because somewhere along the way, I got really good at preparing for tomorrow, while quietly forgetting to fully live today. And I don't think that makes me unusual. I think it makes me like a lot of us. We get really good at the next thing, the next appointment, the next deadline, the next promotion, the next milestone that we're supposed to reach by a certain age. And none of those things are bad. In fact, many of them are quite wonderful. But one day, you look up and you realize that you've spent years preparing for a future instead of fully living the day that you are in. And maybe that's what this entire countdown has been teaching me. I wasn't preparing for retirement. It was reminding me to pay attention to my life. And at this stage of my life, I've come to realize something. Time really feels different now. Not because the days are shorter, but because I finally understand how valuable they truly are. And instead of making me feel afraid, it made me feel grateful. Grateful for another morning, another conversation, another road trip, and another chance to watch my grandchildren grow. And maybe that's the greatest gift retirement has given me. Not more time, but a deeper appreciation for the time that I already have. So, retirement isn't my reward. It isn't my escape plan. It's simply my next season, where I hope to be more awake to the life that I've already been given, because none of us knows exactly how much time we do have left. But every one of us still has today. And 3 days from now, I'll retire. But I don't think the life I'm looking for begins 3 days from now. I think it begins tomorrow morning, when I wake up, pour my coffee, step outside, and remember that today is my life, not someday. Today. So, before we finish our coffee together, I'd love to ask you one question. What would living more life look like for you? I'd really love to read your answers in the comments. And if today's conversation resonated with you, I'd be honored if you'd subscribe and join me as I step into this next chapter. Thank you for sharing a little piece of your day with me. I'm Glenda, and this is Second Act Studio, where your next chapter starts now.